anybody who's claimed anything has had to show proof. You know what I mean? You don't get to say like, the world is round because I say so, right? It's like, you have to prove it. And so anyways, and then I got into this thing where some fancy pants girl was like, because I was talking about like, you should have like oodles of videos and whatever, and she was like, Sean O'Shea, you could just, it reeked of snark. I'd love to see your oodles of reactive dog videos.
She said that?
Yeah. And I was like, oh no, you don't.
Why did she say that?
Because she's in combative land of like...
Yeah, but why wouldn't she check that out before saying it?
Because she probably doesn't know who we are, and she probably thinks that like we're just hot air.
But you had that video. She knows that you were the one in the video, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's
so weird.
It's a bad chess move, right?
That's just knocking all the pieces off the board and being like, I win.
Right? So literally I went through and I spent an hour and a half, and I pulled all of our best links ever, and then I started feeding them into Facebook. It's such a funny story. Omri's right here, and I'm feeding them into Facebook, and then I'm like copying from YouTube, and I'm going through finding the right ones because there's a multitude from each dog, and I'm like it took me an hour and a half to 2 hours. Got them.
Why?
Because I'm like if you're gonna say like, let me see your stuff, like if there's one thing I'm gonna blast your ass out of the water with is like, I'll overwhelm you with videos. So, but then I went back to Facebook, and Facebook had reloaded and all the videos were gone that I had like started, like I hadn't posted them yet. I was just like collating them. So I had to go back through and redo it all over again and put all the videos in notes, and I did it, and it took another an hour and a half. So I didn't eat dinner last night. I didn't do anything.
Oh my God. I'm never gonna tell Gellman on you.
I told them, I was like, if Jeff saw me do that, he'd be yelling at me through the phone. Is this all on here? So I sound like I'm like, don't make me look like a bad guy.
No, I'm not gonna make you look like a bad guy. I'm just gonna out you for spending 3 hours on something that you shouldn't have. You know, babies like are naturally blissful.
No.
Yeah, I read that somewhere.
Really?
There's a natural state of bliss about them.
Oh.
Like, or he'll just be like, so happy.
Yeah, he's not worried about his job being late, or like whether his car's running, or
no. The bills are paid.
Or where the next meal's coming from. It's like, it's all square. Well, so it's official. It's 100% freaking official. Jeff Gellman and yours truly are headed to the UK, Glasgow, Scotland first,
and the client's gone, I think, so you can.
I can like I can
be yourself.
Excellent. Okay. So Glasgow, Scotland is the first gig.
Going to Scotland?
Yes.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I love Scotland, by the way.
I've never been, but ever since Beowulf Knew Who came. Beowulf Knew Who.
Oh, man, that took me a minute. Just like if she was talking to me, it would have taken me a minute. So you're saying Bow Wow Know How from Scotland. Gotcha.
Ever since she came and I like checked out her page and saw the rolling hills and all that stuff, oh my gosh.
Scotland's beautiful.
Yeah.
Freaking beautiful. I love it there. I've spent quite a bit of time, done a lot of traveling down there. So super happy to get back. Glasgow is a little bit more, if I remember right, a little bit more working class, a little bit more like...
City living?
Yeah, it's still cool, but it's just a little bit of a different vibe. It's not like the...
Rolling Hills vibe?
Yes.
Okay.
They left the Rolling Hills, and I think they went more for the factory, if my memory serves me right, because I've been there a couple times. So, but cool nonetheless. So, me and Jeffrey Gellman are mounting a tour, if you will.
I cannot. I'm so excited about this, and I'm so happy that I have a child. But if I didn't have a child, I'd be with you.
You'd be with us?
Yeah.
Well, we wish you would be with us. So here's the dealio. So we've got 2 days of hands-on training, 9 to 5, Saturday and Sunday.
So you guys are doing a seminar?
Yeah, so July.
Are you just jumping into RV?
No.
Oh.
I mean, it's. I think it's technically under the RV like link.
Okay.
But it's been changed to like the Sean O'Shea show featuring Jeff Gellman as his sidekick.
I like that. I like it.
No, but it's based. It's going to be based loosely on like Jeff's kind of RV thing. Okay. But what we're going to do is we'll be able to have more dogs and both of us kind of interacting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Here's the quick structure breakdown. So you've got. What?
Oh.
So you've got, I want to say it's the 1st and the 2nd of July, which land on like a Saturday and a Sunday.
Okay.
And so that's 9 to 5, and that's full on training, like massive, like deep training for all the people that show up.
Yep.
Right. And so those people buy a special ticket.
Right.
Then after that is a Q&A where it's, if you've bought a ticket for the other part, you get a discount, and you get to go to 3 hours of Q&A where we just sit and answer any question across the board, right?
3 hours?
3 hours,
Jeez.
6 to 9.
Oh, people are gonna love that.
Yeah, and if it's at a pub or something, like you can.
What it is? You're gonna do like something like that?
We've talked about it. Just imagine
First
that
of all,
tomfoolery.
if it's at a pub, that's amazing. Second of all, we should take bets on whether that's actually gonna end at 9 p.m.
Oh, you think it'll just keep going? Well, we'll probably be pretty worn out because it's a long day. We're starting training at 9.
You're worn out during T3. You're worn out at this. You're worn out anytime it's time to answer questions like that.
Yeah.
And you still manage to tack on as much information as possible.
I've got information to share. I've got knowledge I want to share. I've got wisdom to give.
Stories, and I get to yours, and it looks like a bunch of tiny little sewing dots.
Yep.
I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, because all these other people are ninnies on Instagram stories. They're like, hey, this is me over at like Jamba Juice.
Yeah.
No. I'm telling stories.
You're spitting wisdom.
I'm actually telling stories and having a good time with it.
Yeah.
So a couple of them have gotten really long. My Africa stories got really long.
Oh, yeah.
I think IG.
It's 10 seconds each.
They cut me off. They were like, yeah, you're done. So anyways, and on top of this, Laura, so check this out. Dig this, if you will.
Dig it.
So we've got 9 to 5 Saturday and Sunday. Q&A 6 to 9 both days, right? Like any question, personal development, business, training, even cooking. I mean, I'll teach them how to make burritos, right? Jeff's got some skills. Jeff could braid hair. I mean, there's a lot of skills that people don't know that we have.
Braid hair.
Yeah, he's got a mean French braid, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then, hi, buddy boy, and then, I touched him. Whoa. So, and then here's the extra kicker. So on Monday, then we do a pack walk with Roddy Kirk, who's putting this all together.
Yeah.
And then on Tuesday, Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, me and Jeff are doing one-on-one sessions with individual clients.
Oh my gosh.
So if you want to work hands-on with us, if you've got like a real specific case that you want to work on, you get to work with me and Jeff hands-on one. I mean, like, it's like,
how long are you going to be gone? 2 weeks? 10 days?
Probably something like that. Yeah.
This is going to be like dream come true, Keenan.
It could be. It could be.
Awesome.
So I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about the Q&A. I'm excited about the different dimensions of it. I think it's going to be really fulfilling for people. And for folks that don't get a lot of the balanced kind of training world, what a cool thing to make it a little bit deeper. You know what I mean?
Totally.
What a cool thing to make it to where you can sit and have Q&A and be like, how do I promote myself when I've got all this friction against me? So
it's going to be like a huge open floor, cool discussion thing. Gosh, it's so fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've got to purchase body armor, and
you guys do need to wear bite suits.
I was talking with Ashley. So far I've got Ashley and 2 or 3 other, one Navy SEAL and 2 other, all dog trainers, and they're all like, we got your back. If you need us to come over there and keep you guys safe.
That'd be so badass if you could. You guys should bring bodyguards.
Well, we are.
Who are you bringing?
Well, we're going to actually have them over there. So we're going to have 2 giant dudes escort us from the airport into the...
Oh, but they're from there.
Yeah.
Okay. Not
I'd
Ashley.
love to take Ashley and the rest of the guys, but we can't afford that.
You should bring Ashley and have him film. You can afford it.
Okay, so real quick, because I don't want this to go too long in the tooth, LaDawn, which we haven't even addressed in a really long time.
I miss her.
So, but how cool is that we're like really going to go deep, really going to cover a bunch of stuff.
Crazy
and
cool.
I think the thing for me, like I was talking with Jeff just the other day, is that I'm so excited about the mission. I've told you this as well. Like, yes, we want to train dogs.
Yeah.
Yes, we want to show you how to use the tools. But more importantly, we want to be kind of like a support system for people to go out and be like, we're not alone, and we can do this, and start making some inroads to a little more confidence, a little more transparency, putting themselves out there, taking more risks. That to me is really important. So that's a big part of it. Now we're talking about some serious stuff. We're talking about filming, right? So we've got bodyguards, like me and Jeff. Like Jeff's like, he's all about, you can imagine Jeff, he's like, we need bodyguards, big dudes to escort us. I'm like, okay, cool. So we're talking about filming one of those seminar workshops and selling it as an actual complete DVD for the weekend.
Freaking love it. That's why you gotta have someone with a badass camera, all that stuff.
Right. Okay. I already talked to James Frost, and he's too highfalutin now. He's like, he's like, I let go of that stuff. All I do is train dogs and make millions of dollars. I'm like, damn it, James. So hopefully we'll find somebody that'll be down. Cool. But we've also talked about doing a documentary, full-on documentary, start to finish, from the plane ride over all the way in. Like,
why are you talking to me about this? Because this is my idea.
Well, I'm talking to you because you've talked to me about it.
Okay.
Should I be top secret and be like, she can't hear about this? No, we've talked about, like, you know, we were talking about different ideas, and you said documentary, and I was like, that sounds like really, really like a ton.
I was joking, but you made it seem like you were telling me, like, and we're thinking of doing this.
Sorry.
No.
She shared the idea with us, and so.
No, we were all talking about it, but I just said, like, a documentary documenting the whole thing, not only just like the ride over, but all the stuff that comes before, all the terrible hate speech that comes from people. Yeah,
we've actually had several people that have commented on the Facebook page that have been like, oh, thank you very much. Documentary, like, people are really like down for that concept. And I think the reason they're down for that concept, Laura, is because of the possible impact of like showing the hatred, showing us coming in, being nice guys, and then showing us work with all these dogs in a really like soft, sensitive manner, and that they see like, oh, this isn't like, sorry, Laura's doing social time here. So that's what's cooking with this. Anybody watching this who is a videographer, editor, hopefully both, and would like to be involved in this, and you're located in the UK, please contact us.
Or if you are from here and you want to pay your own way over there.
I mean, if you want to go big, and you want to like...
Because I can tell you, if I was here and I saw this opportunity, I'd be like, I'll pay $1,000, whatever it is, put it on a credit card, go over there with you guys, put everything on my dime, but then be famous.
Right. And to be honest, it sounds like we're being a little like, little poncy, a little... No, but I mean, it sounds like, well, be famous.
It's a one-of-a-kind documentary.
It really
There's
is.
Nothing else out there like this. And no one, the cool thing, a good documentary outlines something that no one knows about.
Yeah.
So this, the reason why this would be so cool is that no one knows how hateful and hurtful people in the UK
People
are
would
towards
be
balance
shocked
training.
to know that there's death threats flying around.
Death threats.
Do you know what I mean?
Over dog training. Yes.
That should be a t-shirt.
Death threats over dog training. That should be the name of the
reverse
thing.
it. Dog training over death threats. Please. So anyways, without going too much further than that, we're looking at definitely, you're right, you like the idea of filming one of the weekends, and
that's genius.
I mean, I think that could be so valuable for people, like pick London or pick Scotland. Not like London is a country. And Scotland's a country. So Glasgow and West Sussex, just to be clear. Anyway, so that's what's going on. We're going to need security, and we're going to need filming. Anybody with any ideas? Awesome. Anybody want to show up at the airport and escort us two palookas out of there? My suggestion was like go in costume. Jeff wasn't into it, but I was like, man, I'd love to go in a gorilla outfit. Literally.
Does it have to be a gorilla? Can't it
Yeah,
just be
of
like
course.
A wig?
No, it's got to be a gorilla
We'll
outfit.
make Gellman look bald.
No, we'll do something with Jeff. We'll turn Jeff. I don't know. I'm trying to think what we could turn Jeff into. We could turn Jeff into something fantastic. I'll think about it. So, anyways, that's what's cooking. Anybody who has, can we put links up in here for the workshop?
Yeah, if you go like this, and I always catch it.
Okay, cool. For the UK, so.
Oh my God, it's like a reunion. Hi, Brett. It's okay. It's okay.
Anyways, so that's that. And then we've got T3 Rhode Island coming up. What's the date?
I don't know.
You always know.
No, I don't. You always ask me.
That's why you always know, because I keep
through something in April.
Okay.
I think it's the 3rd. Starts.
Okay.
Yeah. Monday.
So, and we have a couple openings left for working spots. Do we have any?
Probably no audits.
No audits left. Okay.
But working new students, yes.
So
audits are old students.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, there's no audit new students. So couple new student
good
openings.
clarity. Yeah. So basically, here's the dealio. This may, wow, he's really like singing it up. This may or may not be, Belle. Everything's going to hell. This may or may not be the last T3 of 2017.
It may or may not be.
Not to say that to be like, hey, but it may not be. We're working on a southern one, but we don't have any guarantees whether we'll be able to make it.
No. And with all of our schedules are crazy.
Yeah.
To try to like coordinate, I guess.
Yeah. So we're working on a southern one, but guys, I'm telling you, if you're trying to get to T3 in this year. This is the one that's guaranteed, and it's always cool doing it at Jeff's place.
And I would say I think there's only 2 to 3 working spots at this point, or 2 to 3.
Yeah, it's really close.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Anybody interested? Should we link that up too? Linker logs. Okay, so that's super exciting, guys, and like I said, we're going to be consistently limiting the T3s due to schedule.
Yeah.
Jeff's traveling a ton. You're obviously busy. I'm traveling. I've got a bunch of stuff going on.
Yep.
Tori Smith is taking over the world, so there's just only so much time. So if you're interested, hit that link and let us know. But let us know quick, guys. It's gonna there's something special about doing it at Jeff's place.
It's the best.
Yeah. He's just got like a perfect spot for it.
Setup.
It's just it's a real.
It should be like the T3 headquarters is what it should be. We should just do two Rhode Island every year is what we should do.
If Jeff could sign a waiver for heat and air conditioning, I would be down for it. The only thing is every once in a while we have to like bust in like some space heaters and stuff. He's like, I don't understand. I just put wood in the furnace. What's going on here?
At my house, it should warm this place.
Right. Our beloved Shelby has left the nest. She's back in New Orleans. She's doing good.
And I text her. I'm like, how are you? She's like, good. I'm like,
yeah, she's like,
I'm done with you.
Right. She's like, I'm good and I'm home. So when I need you, I'll let you know. Shelb's doing great. That's my nickname for her, Shelbs. And so I'm sure her and Samson are like back perusing the NOLA scene and being happy. I think she had a pretty nice adventure on the way home. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
In her stead, we've got Liz. I don't know if I can pronounce Liz. Krogert. Krogart or Krogert? You said it with such conviction the first time. I was like, that's it.
But it's
and then you're
like
Krogart.
I think it's Krogert.
You kind of backtracked a little bit. I think it's Krogert.
Yeah.
Okay. So Freddie Krogert.
Yeah. But by the way, Shelby still works for us. She just works.
No, she doesn't. I sent her a text today. She's toast.
She's fired.
She's dead. Yeah, after that response to you, she's dead to us.
Wow.
Sorry, Shelbs. A year investment? No.
She's on the shelf.
She's on the shelf. No, so we've got Shelby and Cambry down there kicking ass. So
and Shelby doing emails and things. And all that stuff.
And one-on-ones.
Yep.
And Cambry's going to be doing a lot of the board and trains.
Yep.
BTs. Mm-hmm. So anyways, that's kind of what's cooking, guys. Got some big stuff. Like, I really wish that you could come film. Can't you put Forrest on like some kind of a knapsack and let him see the world at like a young age?
I just wouldn't be mobile, and I'd be scared. You guys are gonna be in the line of fire, man.
You just hold up a baby, and they all would be like,
throw tea and crumpets at me.
They would not.
They would.
Would they?
Yeah, they'll stick the
I'll
queen's
catch them.
corgis on me. I don't want to be up against any corgis.
I know who trained the queen's corgis, so I'm sure there's like a safe word.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's Martin Dealey. I can be like, Martin.
Really?
So when the corgis come, what do I say that like gets them to like turn tail?
So awesome.
He's like, mate, bloody hell. I'm like, okay, we're ready to go. It'll actually be bloody hell.
Bloody hell.
Bloody hell. So let's jump into this.
Let's do it. Introduce the show.
Okay.
You can't forget that.
No,
You're going to do a 1 and a 2.
Okay, look at that. Little feedback. Hey everybody, it's Sean from The Good Dog. And to the left over here, we've got these two little hooligans. One is a smaller hooligan than the other, but he's very adorable. Forrest Carter, and we've got Miss Laura Morgan. She actually did change her nails since last time. So,
new reds.
Yeah. Are they baby
Short,
safe?
baby safe.
Baby safe? Oh, someone's about to have their contract reevaluated. So, anyways, all the stuff you can't see is the Good Dogs Q. Am I doing it right? All the stuff you can't see is the Good Dogs Q&A episode 126.
Yeah, baby.
Did we do it? Did we do it right?
It. We did
Nice,
it.
nice. Very cool, very cool. All right, so let's jump into this. Are you... Sorry about the nudity, guys. Are you going to have like a dancing Pomeranian right there?
Of course. We've done this every single time. Can you... Oh my gosh.
Can I what?
Can you lift up my phone? Double tap the home button.
Here?
Yep. Double tap. No. And now hit the Facebook. Okay. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Question number 1.
Quite an operation.
This comes from Alex. Alex says, what is your opinion on being able to work with any dog without tools if you are a good trainer? I've seen this discussion quite a bit and wanted your opinion, Sean.
Doesn't want yours. Just to be clear.
You double tap. And
Double tap?
Double tap and then
Here or
no,
here?
The home, yeah. And now go to the timer and now press start.
Oh God, like I'm doing the whole show.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Is it 5 or 6 minutes?
5 because our question.
Oh, okay, we've been cut back. Okay.
No, because we always take an extra minute.
Okay, so Alex is a T3 grad and one of our good friends,
Alex
and
is great.
she's also a badass. So, and she always just like, I love the way she puts her questions together. She's not contentious. It's always just like looking for information, and I love that. I love that about you,
She's
lady.
An information seeker.
She is, and she puts out a ton of videos, and just like
she's a badass.
she's just rocking. So, I'm trying to keep it not salty for this one, right? But
I have a feeling from your latest videos and things and texts, it's gonna be a bit salty.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some salt.
There's a possibility of it.
It's gonna be a savory.
Salty and savory.
Okay.
Are those the same thing? Salt and savory?
Yeah.
So it will be salty and savory.
I mean,
and
you can say
with a
them
smidge
together.
with a smidge of sweetness. Okay, so so Alex, this is one of those things I really hate. And I don't hate that you asked the question, but I hate that this question gets thrown around. I can't stand it. It's such a dog trainer ego bunch of monkey business BS. Oops, I'm gonna curb myself. It's so like it's so about like not let's break it down. It's so not about like clients and their dogs. It's about dog owners and wagging their wieners around.
Oh my God, dog trainers.
Did I say that?
You said dog owners.
Dog owners?
It's about dog trainers.
I said that.
wagging
That's
their
what I
wieners.
said. Yeah. I said dog owners first.
Oh, okay. You said owners next, but
Can you
okay.
bleep that in?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll dub.
I was really on a tear, and then I was like, okay, then I said the wrong thing. Okay. So let's try that again. So I don't think about this stuff at all, Alex. I don't think about tools, like that conversation. I'd love for you to not even entertain that conversation. I'd love for you to not give it any credence. I'd love for you to not even think about it. I would love for you to think about, what is your gig? What is your primary objective with the clients you're working with? And I'm almost positive that your primary objective is to make sure and ensure that your clients are successful with the dogs that you've trained when they go home. Are your clients saying like, I want to be able to be masterful with my dogs, sans tools in any context, in any situation, so I can ascend to the level of master dog trainer. No, they don't care about that. All they want is they want their dogs to behave. They want their dogs to be in a good space, good attitude, don't bite somebody, don't growl, don't jump, don't be reactive. That's what they're looking for. Dog trainers that are getting into this kind of like pissing match about like you have to be able to go toolless, I just think it's such BS. I think it's such dog trainer wiener wagging. I love that term. So it's
so weird.
But it is. It's dog trainer wiener wagging. Even if you're a female, it's really about like, look what I can do, and
well,
that. But
and you can't just pick any old dog to say, look what I can do.
What do you mean?
If you get just like a random dog from the shelter, you're not gonna always get that dog who's like, come back to you no matter what.
Of course not.
But if you get a nice, like a good breed that is in that realm.
100%. 100%. So Laura brings up the good point of like, you have to really kind of look deeper with these trainers that are saying this stuff. Are these trainers like, if you're working with pet dogs and you're taking dogs from shelters or from tough situations with tough behaviors, Forrest, you cannot do that. Those are not dogs that are going to be genetically predisposed to being toolless, most likely. Some you might be able to get there if that's your goal. Yep. It's not my goal, but some you might be able to get there. But primarily what you're going to see with trainers that are saying you don't need tools, those are trainers that have got high drive, genetically bred, selected dogs that should be working like toolless, like Jeff's dogs, like Girl and Kira. They hardly ever have any tools on them, right? And they travel across the country, and Jeff could if he wanted to, but he doesn't. He talks about them being naked, but he doesn't leverage that.
He's also really clear that they're like a perfect breed. They've like
that's exactly my point, right? So Kira is a very expensive dog. Girl was a very expensive dog. These are dogs that didn't come from the shelter. He picked them. And so yes, have they had e-collars on? Yes, they have. Have they learned how to recall? Yes, but they're also in a different mindset. They've got different stuff, different priorities. They're more engaged with the client, with the owner. They're more apt to want to work with the owner. Whereas like you pull a pitty out of, and I love pitties, but you pull a pitty out of the shelter and you put him around a squirrel and like you got yourself trouble most likely.
I'm a wonderful dog trainer.
Right? So anyways, let me just close it out with this. So dog trainer ego BS. You're not training these dogs to be off tools. You're training them to be well behaved in the house, right? And it's also, here's something nobody wants to talk about, except for Forrest. Nobody wants to talk about that it's a huge safety risk, right? Like, let's be like Mr. Cool or Mrs. Cool dog trainer, and let's have our dogs off leash, no e-collar, no safety belt, no security blanket in case things go south, because you know what? They're dogs. And guess what happens? All of a sudden your dog makes a bad choice and you got nothing to say about it. But he's highly trained, and then a mistake happens. Runs out into the street, pulls on the leash, grabs another dog, something like that. Obviously it works me up and it makes me mad, just because I think that it's BS dog trainer silliness, and I don't want you focused on that. I want you focused on the good work that you do, utilizing and leveraging tools to help your owners, because that's your focus, not some freaking dog trainers to be like, whoa. The goal is that your owners go home with these dogs and they successfully live with them and they enjoy their dogs. That's what makes a good dog trainer. And you know what? There's like this many that can do that like consistently with troubled dogs. So like all these people that are beating their chest about like not needing any tools, I want to see you with a really troubled dog, even with tools, making great stuff happen. So there's my little anyways. So Alex, I hope that helps, and don't give any credence to that silliness. You know what you're doing. You know that tools are what creates the bridge for regular owners to be successful.
And if I may,
you may.
That's what dog training is all about. If you're a dog enthusiast, a dog training enthusiast, and you're not a trainer, then maybe it is about making sure your dog can do stuff without tools and make whatever. But a dog trainer...
If that's what I live for, yeah, sure.
But a dog trainer, your main goal is to get your client from point A to point B. And if you can't do that, if you can't make your client a dog trainer, then you better adopt every dog that you work with.
Yeah, because I want them all to be toolless.
Yes.
So they'll be in my backyard or wherever they're going to be. They'll be with me, the dog master.
Yes.
But they can't go anywhere else because...
Question 2 comes from Rochelle.
Yeah.
Rochelle says, how do you teach... Baby... How do you teach the owners?
Yeah.
I can train the dogs, no problem. It's the owners I struggle with.
So, Rochelle, you got yourself a bit of a conundrum there because, like, you can train dogs all day long, and if you can't train the owners, you're really stuck.
Yes.
Because we always talk about the quarterback principle or the teammate principle, and it doesn't matter how good you are. If your team, which is your owners or are your owners, if they're not down and doing their work and you don't know how to impart that information, you're going to lose. You can train that dog up and down from here, what is it, here to Friday, Sunday or whatever it is, and it won't matter because what's going to happen is they're going to go back home. The owners are not going to do the things that are necessary. They're going to miss small moments. They're not going to correct when they should. The dog's going to see the gaps, going to see the cracks, and slowly it's going to unravel, and then you get the call or you get the email. Yeah, my dog's a mess. What happened? What happened was you didn't give the owners the information that they needed in order to be successful in an ongoing fashion, right? Now, that said, even with some owners and doing really great work, not every owner is going to succeed. Oh, no. Some owners are going to like phone it in, like everybody's got busy lives, I get it. But the trick is, and one of the things I wrote down for you as your very first thing, is to start with committed, pre-qualified clients, right? So that's why we're such sticklers for that. If you want to start off with a fighting shot at a great dog situation training-wise, you got to have owners that show up that are like, I'm so ready. I'm so down. I'm so committed to this. And if you don't, Forrest. He knows when it's filming time. He just doesn't like the attention being taken away from him. So if you've got people coming in that are just not in that headspace, you're already set up to lose. So let's think about that as the first priority. And that means saying no to money. That means saying no to every client, not every client, but like not every client gets in. Like a lot of dog trainers struggle with that. A lot of dog trainers just say yes, yes, yes. And then all of a sudden they're like, why? Why is this not working? So that's a really important part of this. I'd like you to start with your primary focus to be on the owners, not the dogs. Yes, you've got to train the dogs. Yes, the dogs should be great. But mentally, you need to focus in a way that you're thinking, my most important priority are owners. I've got to get them rocking. So once you start to shift your focus on what you're looking for, you'll start to find better answers, just how the brain works, right? So if you're focused on dogs being awesome, that will be your primary focus and you will get better dogs. But if you don't have that same focus going for owners, you're going to get great dogs with owners that you haven't put enough focused energy, creativity into making them successful, right? So I hope that makes sense. Just focus is such an important part of this. I would say adjust your speed and the challenge that you actually share with each client very specifically. Some owners are going, just like some dogs, this is like training owners is like training dogs. You've got to be super sympathetic, empathetic. You've got to be sensitive. You've got to read your owners and you got to see like, oh, that's too much pressure for them. Let's make this easier. Let's break this up into smaller sessions. Let's not ask them to do this much. Let's not put them in this high pressure situation. You've got to really read your owners like you read your dogs in order for them to have a good fighting shot at being successful. So when we're working with owners, we're evaluating them as much, if not more, than the dogs that are going to go home. So we're looking at the owners and we're seeing like, okay, so that's a hard moment for them. Correcting is really hard, or tone they're struggling with, or anxiety or body language or whatever they're struggling with. So you got to be tuned in. You got to be focused. That goes back to the focus part. That focus will create more insight into how to better teach, but it has to be a priority. If it's not a priority, you won't get there. So, care. It's one of those things I wrote down like in big letters. Care a lot about owners, right? So many dog trainers just care about dogs and the bottom line. Care about training dogs and did I get paid? You need to care a hell a lot, a shit ton, if you will, about owners, because they're the ones that are going to be your deciding factors of whether you get good reviews or bad reviews, right? And train that dog just like to the highest level, and if your owners aren't right, you're still going to fail. I can't say that enough times, and I hope you really get that. So many dog trainers go to just seminar after seminar after seminar after seminar. How do I get better with dogs? How do I get better with dogs? They're not going anywhere to learn how to get better with humans. Do your work. Do your work, which is the other side of the thing. There's another creature in that dynamic, in that relationship, that needs a ton of work to be better, right? The dogs have all these past associations and perceptions of the owner. Your job is to help the owner break out of that and create a new perception, new association with the dog. And that's all about caring enough about the owner to really prioritize that. And then, how about this for an easy one? Watch what other trainers do. God damn, there's enough videos on YouTube that you could go through ours. You can see go home sessions that we have. You can see go home sessions that Jeff has, that Tyler has, that Blake has, that a multitude of trainers have, and see what they're doing. How are they structuring it? How are they actually interacting with the clients? How are they coaching? How are they empowering? When did they back off? How many times we're working with a client and we'll all see something they've done wrong and we don't say a word? Because the better benefit, the higher benefit is letting them just relax, not adding any more anxiety to their plate, and letting them sort it out. And then we'll talk about it maybe 20 minutes later. So that thing you did, that's not going to work for you. You got to be strategic, just like you would with a dog. You wouldn't think about it this way: correct a dog, and then the dog starts to get amped up. Like if you're a smart trainer, you go, "Oh, that dog's getting amped up. Let me give it a moment to calm down." Right? You don't just keep cranking on the dog because you tuned into the dog. What's going to help the dog succeed most? Cool. Let me do that. Do the same thing for the owners, and you'll be great. Hope that helps.
Question number 3 comes from Kristen, who came to a T3, who's awesome.
We call her 5 to 10.
We call her 5 to 10, but that's an inside joke. You'll have to ask her if it's okay that we make that public.
Right.
But 5 to 10 is her name.
And it's not because she did hard time. No. Right? Just to be clear.
Google her and find her.
She never saw Alcatraz.
Find her business page and you can see her face and you'll know that she's never seen a jail cell in her life.
Yeah.
Okay. So Kristen says, "Hi Sean and Laura, I have a business question. Currently I'm the only employee in my business, but I would love to have a great team of people one day like you guys have created at The Good Dog. I do my best work when I'm part of a great team, but I'm not sure how to go about it or when would be the right time. How did you guys know when it was the right time to expand and add people, and what positions did you add them in? For example, trainers, daycare workers, kennel staff, assistants, computer people, etc. Thank you both so much for everything you do and all your generous help and advice you give. I love you both." Oh, I love you too. And
Thank
Kristen,
you.
You're coming to the reunion.
Oh, is she? Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
and she's
Awesome.
coming as a returnee.
Oh, man.
So we get
Kick
9
ass.
days with Kristen.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
cool. Wow.
awesome.
She's
kicking ass.
super proud of her. She's
Yeah.
one of those people that did a private consult with
Yeah.
us. And
One of the first to sign up for a private consult. You always know,
not in totality of T3, but in this
but,
specific
in
one.
that specific
and
seminar,
and it was I won't give anything away, but it was such a special one because how she came in, super smart as a whip, had all these concepts and this kind of business model, and we completely turned it upside down. And she instead of resisting, she rolled with it.
Oh my gosh.
And just boom.
She's killing it.
Yeah.
She's
So
killing
we're
it.
super proud of her.
Yeah, she's a badass.
So I'm gonna let you answer some of this.
Okay, so, I'm looking at your little notey notes. So yeah,
Do you want me to read off what she's asking?
No, yeah, I think I got it. So the approach basically of, I think not, he's trained.
There's something about watching Henri trying to get a sleepy Manny off the dog bed. I wish you could see.
Sleepy Manny is redundant. There's no, she's holding her hands out like she has food.
He's
that works.
He's like, hey. Potty time for Manny.
So, Kristen, for us, when we decided it was time, I know for you bringing me on, I remember the conversation very well, and it was
just a gun to the head.
It was a gun to the head. No, when you wanted to bring me on full time, it was really because you had way too much work. And
overwhelmed.
You were overwhelmed, and you couldn't do it all, and you needed help.
Yep.
So that was that. When we brought on Brittany, we had been looking for someone for a long time. Of course, like, Brittany was like the perfect person we wanted in our heads, but we hadn't found someone like that.
Yeah.
But we were bursting at the seams as well. We needed more help.
Yep.
We wanted to move me more into like video stuff and stuff like that, and needed like a trainer to do one-on-ones and to just be a general badass. And then when we found Brittany, it worked because we had the need already, and we could offer her kind of like a minimum type payment. Like, we can give you this bare minimum for this amount of hours for this type of stuff, and then, you know, for one-on-ones it'll add on to that. And then of course,
don't be scared, and this you're really good at, but don't be scared to start somebody kind of at a lower point, not because you're trying to grind them, but at a lower point, lower pressure on them, and see how it blossoms.
Yeah.
And then see, you can always add on to that as they blossom and grow.
And what's something for, you know, that worked for us, for all of them, for everyone who works here, is really like kind of a concept of like, let's do like kind of like some intern days first. Like Brittany, we were kind of like, hey, you want to just come by whenever you can? And of course, Saturday and Sunday, she was right there, ready every single weekend for free.
One determined lady.
Doing her thing. And same with Henri. Shelby, when I used to go down to NOLA, I would just offer her like, hey, you want to come see a session? She'd roll up from her job in her full like doggy daycare gear and get to crack in with me, and she busted her butt. And Henri obviously like had 5 jobs when we asked her to come intern, and she would just hustle. So you can get someone in. Maybe if you have an idea of someone, you could say, hey, you know, I need kennel cleanup help, you know. And you can kind of work your way in, like, it's like dating a little bit and seeing how much they want it. But I do think that the thing that really you'll have to check is like your demand, and make sure you've got like, you're like, wow, you know, my waiting list right now is 3 months out, and I keep getting one-on-ones, and I really need help with just the basics around here, cleaning kennels and cleaning bowls and keeping dogs' stuff together and all that stuff. And then you can start with just needing those jobs done. You can really move someone who's a little bit like of maybe not like a full-on dog trainer, but someone who's interested, that you get along with, who's an awesome person. You can move them into that work, because anyone can be trained to do that work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and then you start there, Kristen. You kind of like start with one person, right? And they're doing like maybe kennel work for you, help, or your training, and then they start moving into the training stuff, and your demand is going to grow because your business is just going like this. So your demand's going to grow. You can push that person up, grab someone else to do like kennel work, kind of push it. It's like a little like step ladder sort of thing, if you will. And you'll just know. But the first one, I would say, start with kind of that easier work that you could put anyone on, someone who's really interested in dog work. Don't make any promises, don't do any of that stuff, but just like, hey, you can come on and do this work for me, and you can, you know, check out the training after you're done with that stuff, and then you can get a good idea of who they are. But you'll really see it like bursting at the seams is a really good way to put it with business, before you're like, okay, I can take on an employee, and then it'll just grow. It'll become natural.
Yeah, there's an uncomfortable point where it's bursting, right? Where you can feel that tension, where you're like, ooh, it's getting hard.
Yep.
But a lot of people are afraid to get into that point, and so they make the move too early, and they haven't quite got to the bursting point, and so they make the move and they don't have enough business, or something gets a little dodgy. Like, wait till you're bursting, hang tough, do the extra month or 2 of like juggling a little bit more, working a little bit harder, and then move into bringing somebody. Something I was just going to add is that place people where they're really helpful, where they're most talented, where they're most qualified, and what they enjoy the most, if possible, right? We can't always have a perfect world where everybody does exactly what they want to do, but you can get pretty creative with getting people into good spots of stuff that they enjoy. Like, I know you always have conversations about like, what do you hate the most? Right? It's a good question. Like,
once they're on, it's a really good question. Give me the top 3 things that you hate and the top 3 things that you like. I really like that, because then you get like, oh, okay, well, you know, I don't want to say I hate it, but I really don't like doing this and this and this.
Yeah.
Cool. So we can't move you out of it yet because it's part of what we need.
Right.
But
we're aware,
and we can push towards that in the future.
Just having that conversation where you acknowledge, right? And people know that, oh shit, you're actually thinking about my future rather than just how I benefit your business. Changes a lot of the psychology and creates more of a family vibe, because if you had a family, together, right? The family isn't like just about me, the family's about the family. And so, yes, there's a business that needs to be profitable and needs to be successful and well organized, but it really should be a family if done right.
Yep.
And even within families, there can be friction, there can be stuff you got to work out and all that stuff, but it should be family centric. That's a big, big thing. 100%. And one last thing, what are you good at? What are you good at? What are you not good at? And then what do you hate? What do you abhor? And what would make your life feel so good to delegate to someone else? That's a huge one. So as much as like asking somebody else what they like and what they don't like, make sure you do the same thing with yourself, and then start plugging people in as best you can that can do that for you.
And you can start, like, just to close this off, in terms of like starting someone, I know you personally, and I know that business is going great for you. I would say, like, pick a number that works for you, and if you're like, I can do $100 a week for someone that you might see, like a client or a friend or someone that's into dog work that you think might be a possibility, you could be like, I have $100 a week in my budget. Would you want to work 3 hours a day?
Doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah. Like if they might be like, oh, this is like, I know this is just a paid internship and let's do this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Smart folks, guys, smart folks are happy to come in, work on the cheap or for free in order to get their foot in the door, find out what's cooking, see if it's a good fit, show you their value, and then boom, you can be off to the races. And I don't think we've ever hired anybody that hasn't been either a client or a T3 grad.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we always want to know people as organically and intimately as possible before we bring them in. It's like just the best shot at success.
Yeah.
So I can't fathom, like maybe it's worked for other folks, but I cannot fathom
going like
ad? You took the words out of my mouth. Like, who would show up at our door from a Craigslist? There might be somebody good, but I just picture like axe murderers and, you know, I'm sorry, it just sounds like the worst. So anyways, hopefully that helped.
Okay, question number 4. We're low on time. Amanda says, hey Sean and Laura, it's been a while since I've asked a question. I've been working on my dog's issues with our kids and house guests.
Boy, we are running out of time.
She used to bite them when they were in her space, but that's all better now. I'm also slowly getting my training business going. Doing all this work has really helped with their issues, but I'm finding that there's an underlying issue with Booma and our other dog, Chance.
Booma.
They will randomly get into fights that will leave Chance bleeding. Today's fight, while I was in a different room and my husband and kids were out playing. Chance has his bed set up by a sliding door so he's able to see the kids outside. Booma's bed is a few feet away from him. Also, while I was away, one of the kids kept going in and out of the house. Chance gets easily excited, and she's worked on that. And Booma still has anxiety issues. I don't get her energy drained. She's chewing the heck out of her paws. She was on the treadmill for 20 minutes. We do trick training.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's happening between the two. My guess is that Booma doesn't like Chance's excitedness, sometimes snotty attitude, and corrects him for it. How would I figure out if this is the case or not, and what steps am I missing to fix it? Thank you guys for all your help.
Amanda, hug and kiss. So, first of all, the first thing that comes across my mind is looseness in the environment.
Yeah.
Whenever we have dogs fighting in a house, there's almost always looseness in the environment. Structurally, disciplinarianly, correctively, leadership-wise, all of that good stuff, right? And so what ends up happening is dogs sense little gaps, and then those little gaps become competition, become little points of friction, things like that. So when you say one of your dogs got anxiety issues you're working on, but it's like still like anxious, the other dog is taking exception with that, like, to me, like when you say that, all I hear are decisions. I hear, well, for one, the anxious dog, like I would be working heavy duty on that anxious dog. Like, I don't know what that looks like or how it manifests, but like that dog needs to learn how to shut off and shut down, whether that's a 3 or a 4 hour place command that the dog doesn't move and really learns. But the dog that's like getting like side-eyed or like snotty with the other dog, and it's consequence time. If you put those two dogs here, I guarantee you nothing would go on, because I would see like, okay, you're anxious, let's get rid of your anxiety best we can, and I know you're doing the best you can, but let's like really put everything to bear to make sure this anxious dog chills out. Now, that said, I don't care if the other dog, if it's Booma or whatever, I can't remember the names, but wants to go after that dog, like, tough shit. It doesn't matter. That's none of your business, right? So you can hate that dog all you want, but you better not move. And if you do move towards that dog, all hell's gonna break loose. So I would love a little term I've been using lately, righteous fear from mom towards either of your dogs making crappy choices, right? I would like mom to rule the house with a little bit of an iron fist, and that iron fist can like get softer and softer and softer as your dogs mirror that and get softer and softer and softer. So whenever there's fighting stuff, I don't know if we've ever walked into a fighting situation with massively like high level leadership skilled, like consequence, like firm structure, doing everything right owners, and then had dogs fighting still. I'm just trying to think if I've ever seen that.
I mean, I'm sure it happens, but it's rare.
It's got to be such a small, teeny percentage. It's almost always, if you guys think about it, it's almost always opportunistic stuff. And so that, I think, is what's going on here. Yeah, I mean, I just say competition, disagreements, bigger consequences, the notes I wrote for myself, and fear of mom. I mean, those are the simple things. So you need to know how to get rid of the anxiety. So that needs to be a focal point. You need to know how to share consequences for your dog that thinks that it can go clean the other dog's clock. And those consequences need to be firm. So I would suggest that you've got your dogs on hopefully both e-collar trained. If not, I would be working on that. And I want your dogs to know that even if mom's across the room, mom's still connected to both dogs through the e-collar. And then you get different decisions, because the dog's like, you across the room, no e-collar training? Dog's like, yeah, I can get that other dog before you can get to me.
Yeah.
Just telling you the truth. That's how they work. They're smart cookies. So anything to add to that?
You know what to do, Amanda. You know, maybe the structure's a little loose. There's probably some little things that the dogs are getting away with. Yes, the anxiety needs to be nipped in the bud. You know all this stuff, so just take care of it.
Bigger consequences for smaller infractions, and watch what happens for both dogs. And if that doesn't make sense, like, hit us up in the comments and I'll do my best to explain it. But I've talked about it ad nauseum in a million different posts. Bigger corrections, small consequences. When the brain is like just starting to escalate, you'll land the whole conversation with your dog of what you're trying to get across, and you'll see your dog typically make amazingly different choices.
Thank you. Question number 5. Last
Kike.
question.
Kike.
Kike says, Hi. I'm rehabilitating my new dog, Wolf dog. I don't know exactly what it is, but every time he sees my other dog eating, he redirects and bites my leg without correction. I give him 2 to 3 firm pops with a leash and a prong, and the moment his teeth touched me, and I think he understood that biting me will never work for him. Is there any other better way to correct this kind of behavior? I know it's a pack problem, and I'm already working on structured walks, waiting for food, etc. Any feedback is well appreciated.
Kike. Well, we can both jump in on this.
Yeah.
Any kind of hybrid dog is always a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
You always get we've had a few, and you always get a little bit of different behavior if you've got a true hybrid dog. That said, all animals learn through consequences, right? So if this dog might be more amped up than a typical dog, if it's got like some extra DNA going on, food is present with your other dog, your dog's getting amped up, feeling competitive, feeling whatever it's feeling like this, and then uncorking all of that building tension on your leg, right? And then you're popping with a prong collar. To me, that's not enough. Like for most dogs, like that kind of stuff, when they're that worked up, like a prong collar correction is just not going to be that valuable, right? So what I would suggest is if you're really serious about this, I would suggest e-collar training.
So doing e-collar, which is a little bit less mano-a-mano for a dog who's like, I'm choosing to redirect on you. It's so weird that like the redirection is just sees the dog eating.
I've never heard that before.
That's like, ooh, I don't like the sound of that. So I would definitely say e-collar, because you can keep your distance, you could have the dog back tied, you could be there, and also all the other moments that you're going to use the e-collar to let the dog know that like, hey, you're not a wolf anymore. You know, that's going to be a good bet for you. But I would be really careful about making sure that there's no competition being built between the dogs and other contexts as well.
Good point.
And making sure that they're not eating in the same room and you're not trying to be a hero.
Yeah, this whole thing, you know, we've been talking about that a lot lately, about dogs eating close to each other, even if they're in crates, things like that, without dividers. It just creates tension and competition. And so then you just build up, your dog loads up, and then it uncorks on either your dog or you or something like that. Now in this context, your dog's just standing there next to you and loading up. Dogs don't just like...
No.
He's loading. He sees the other dog, sees a primal resource, and starts loading, and now you've got a problem on your hands. So when I suggested the 3 things that I suggested, Laura brings up a good point, that like doing any kind of like physical correction is absolutely something that has to be an expert maneuver done by somebody who knows exactly what they're doing and how to keep themselves safe. So don't mess with that, unless you're like exquisitely talented at that. Dominant dog collar can be fantastic if this dog is like, you know, if you're sitting there and the other dog's eating and the dog starts to get worked up, you can apply dominant dog collar pressure up and take the wind out of the dog's sails. Most likely, the best thing you could do is e-collar train the dog, have the dog ready, set up the situation. Now you can either muzzle the dog if you want to be extremely safe, back time, however you want to do it. There's a million different ways to be safe. Just strategize it. Muzzle, back tie, whatever you're gonna use. And then the moment you see that dog starting to load up, bam, you nail them with the e-collar, and don't nail them low. Nail them, make sure that there's an inhibition or a consequence or punishment that is firm enough to make that choice, right, attached to this, that makes that no fun at all.
But if you work on some other stuff, all the other foundation stuff with the dog, there's a possibility that might not even be, because he might just be seeing cracks in you and he's like, I can just take advantage of the situation and get my stuff out on you. But you take care of every other thing by just leadership stuff with all this foundation we talk about.
Voice of reason.
Yes. Try.
And we've posted a million things, and I just posted something the other day about respect, and I was talking exactly about this and how you put money in the bank by every behavior that leads up prior. We were talking about walking a redirecting dog and like, how do you get a redirecting dog to not bite you? Every moment that leads up prior to ever getting that dog on the walk.
It's not the redirection moment.
That's how you build that, right? Yeah. So what Laura's saying is right on the money. What I'm sharing is kind of like the explicit like tactics of how to deal with it. She's sharing the bigger picture of how to prevent that. And if you put the two together, then you really have something solid, because then you've got your foundation, you know you've done all that, you may never see the problem, but if you do see the problem, you've also got tactics about how to go about correcting that situation, and that should be a firm consequence. Any dog that decides willy-nilly that it's okay to just turn and bite you, they need a high-level correction. I don't care what any trainer about, like, well, you just need to like redirect them with food, or you know, like show them that like your leg's a good thing. Like, well, it is a good thing to bite. So let's move in that direction.
I would suggest a phone consult with us, definitely.
Yeah.
This is something, or seeing a professional trainer, because that's scary stuff. You just
or take him to the zoo.
Careful. Hey, he's a wolf. We gotta go.
Okay.
We love you guys.
Guys, thanks so much. Hopefully that was helpful.
126 in the bag.
Yeah, just keeps.
Next time.
Just big wheel, keep on turning.
Proud Mary, keep on burning.
Yeah, rolling.
Rolling.
Rolling. We throwing him to me? Like, oh God, she's throwing Forrest. All right, guys. Take care. Bye. See you soon. Mm.